Hey there, so I bought a 2021 Keystone Springdale 1800 BH back in October, and I just wanted to go over a few things that I did to make it a little more enjoyable while we were out camping. A couple things, mainly hanging the TV, how I did that, and a couple other small things that I think might help you out. I saw there's a number of videos on YouTube, not all with this same model, so I figured I'd try to do a couple things, maybe help a few people out, give them some ideas of what to do. So first thing, I'll just jump right into it. I'm sorry I'm doing this video by myself, so the camera's pretty shaky, but I'll do my best. So the first thing that I did mainly was hang the TV. The way the manufacturer put this, it's a pretty small area to put a TV. I think the one that I got is 22 or 23 inch. It sticks out a little bit past the wall. You can put whatever TV you want, but due to the fact that the dining chair here kind of sticks out into the walkway, it's not really a big deal. Anyways, yeah, so the TV that I have, I got one of the TVs that do DC power as well. I've got two small kids, so putting on a DVD or something like that for them, as this one's built in, makes it a little easier when we're trying to cook breakfast or whatever have you. So so what I did is I could show you kind of how I hung this, but as you can see, they have the cabinet that's right here that kind of is in the way of the TV, and I think that would be pretty much with any TV, because there's really not a lot of space in between the back part of the cabinet door and where you would put your TV. So I got this cool bracket on Amazon. It's actually pretty nice. This one snaps in place and locks, so that way your TV won't be swinging all over the place while you're driving. I think it was about $23, 30 bucks maybe on Amazon. You can put whatever TV you want, but the best part about this bracket that I really like is the fact that the whole TV can just swipe right out of the way, and then you've got pretty much free and open access to your cabinet for everything you need to grab out of there. So that's usually where we keep our towels, so we're not going in there all the time, but it just makes it easier to kind of get in there, and you're not, even if you had it, you'd be hitting your cabinet door onto your TV, which you obviously don't want either. Another thing that I installed was this cool little power situation. So mine runs off DC. This, I added a couple cigarette lighter for the DC power. It comes with AC power up here if you wanted to hook into that. And I also put in a couple USB ports, so I could put it in a sound bar and running your fire sticker, whatever you want to do. And then of course it has a kill switch. That way you're not running any extra power when you're not using it and ruining power. So I'll show you how I hung this. So the way the manufacturer has it, they've got a stud that's about right here, and then there's another one over here at the end of the wall. So obviously, in order to hook your TV into here without hooking it into this, screwing it into this like super thin plywood, is you're gonna have to put a piece of wood in here. So what I did to do that is this black piece, trim piece. There's 3 screws in it, and it comes right off. And then I just took a flat bar and just very gently pried this back. These are basically stapled in, coming from the manufacturer. So pried this back with a flat bar, pulled out the staples. As you can see, I just added the wiring, I think, last week. So there's the staples up there, so I haven't tacked everything back down. But pick this back right now, because it's screwed in with the TV. I can't really pull it out, but it gives you plenty of room to put your hands in there. So what I did was I took like a 1x6, and I measured from the inside of this stud to the back stud there. I think it was like 16 inches around there, something like that. And then I just put the 1x6, into here. I put a couple finish nails into here to tack that down, and then I did a few others right here sideways into the stud that's there. That way I have a nice solid block to kind of screw into there. Now you do have to be careful, because you've got kind of your power, your thermostat wiring that'll come through there, and your different meters and power and all that, your water pump and all that. So just there's plenty of room back here. It's not like a thick wall. You probably can't see very well in there, but just make sure you kind of move the wires out of the way. That way you're not screwing in your wires or anything like that. And then, like I said, because of my TV, you can just clip that back in and it locks into place. And then once you're all done with that, you can put this trim piece back on. You could tack your, screws back or staples back into here, or finish nail, or whatever you want to do. And then it all gets hidden by the trim. Put that back on, and you're good to go. So one of the other main things that I didn't really care for in this trailer when we first bought it is the lights that they have in the main room of the trailer. So these guys, when you bought it from the manufacturer, were all or nothing. So you either had all of these guys going or nothing at all. So I bought these guys on Amazon. They are the same manufacturer. But they're basically more like the ones over here that they come with in the bunks, where they're push button. So I bought, I think it was a 2-pack for 25 bucks, so I bought 2 of them. So that way you can just go and shut them off. Now these ones are slightly different from the ones that came with the trailer, in that they have like a little glow in the dark thing as you shut them off. Obviously those go away once it dies down, and I thought that would really bother me when I first put them in, but you don't even notice them after a few minutes. And the main part is right over the bed. If you're laying down and someone needs to turn the lights on, it's right in your face. So having a few of those is great. That way you can kind of shut it off if the kids are going to bed or something like that. And then I have left this one without a push button. That way, if for whatever reason, you come in, you can't turn them all off. There'll always be one light will come on when you hit your power switch. So that's what I did with that one. Let me turn these back on. That is definitely a must because it's a lot of light, especially when it's dark. Super bright in here otherwise. So another thing that I did was I hooked in this guy over here. So from the manufacturer, this is by our main bed here. From the manufacturer, this just came with a two USB outlet, which was kind of not great because if you plug in more than one phone, the power from it basically didn't charge your phone at all. So this guy, what I got this on Amazon as well. I think it was $15 to $20. But it comes with a voltmeter, which is cool. There's a power switch to kill it. Also, a couple USB outlets, and then also a cigarette lighter. That way we can run our CPAP machine once we get set up for dry camping. So the DC power was already there from the manufacturer, so I just, that's a little more intensive with the wiring. Got to kind of figure out how you're going to do that, but relatively easy. I'm not super whiz with wiring things in, so I was able to figure it out. So another thing that is probably a must for me, I just got these, but we've done a couple trips, and this little lock for the refrigerator does not hold this door closed very well when you're driving around. So several times when I got to where I was going, the fridge door was open. I was kind of stuffing some things at the bottom to kind of hold it closed. But these, again, Amazon, I think this was 10 bucks for like a 6-pack or something like that of these fridge locks. Obviously I got black so they match, but that way when we're driving, it'll be closed up and it won't fly open. And then I can kind of I just used another piece from one of the other to just kind of tuck it out of the way. So that way when you're using it, it's out of the way and good to go. A couple other things that I did is in the closets, there was no shelf here in the middle. So it was just one giant closet, and there's a lot of wasted space because we put a few things on the bottom shelf and then you didn't have anything else. So I just put in a piece of wood. I stained this. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's in a closet. I just picked up a gray from Home Depot and stained it, kind of keep it there. But that way you've got a whole nother shelf where you can put, we put our food and things like that in there. And I did that in the front one as well. Because just a small one, I still wanted to be able to potentially hang things up there, so I put it a little lower, but that way we got a few things on the bottom that we can keep in there, and then still have a shelf. And then I also did that for this closet here, just because, like I said, it's the same thing where there was a bunch of wasted space up top, so I just put a shelf in the middle, put a little angle over here, that way it'll hold it up there. I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do with the one that's over the counters, if I'm going to put a shelf in there or not. That's kind of where we keep our pocket pans and things like that, so for the moment it's fine. Another thing I did, because I've got two younger kids, is I built this little ladder. You can buy pre-made ones on Amazon, but I just bought a couple 2x3s, kind of measured it out, tacked them together with some nails. And in order to connect it, because once they get bigger or older, they'll be able to climb out without it, so I wanted to potentially remove it. So it's got these screws that held in this front trim piece. So I just took the one off of the end here and used a longer screw, kind of drilled this out and screwed right through the old spot. That way it'd be out of the way. Put a little thing in there too, so it won't scratch the faceplate. And then the way I connected it to is I just took a couple pieces of ratchet strap. This little piece of wood is just screwed in so it comes up, and I just wrapped the ratchet strap around the stud that's under here. That way, you know, if the kids are climbing on it, it's not going anywhere. Nice and secure, and it won't fly off. Obviously it's got a little give, but it's not going to fall down or anything like that. So a couple other things coming from the manufacturer. Under the storage, there's storage under this guy here, which is great, but in order to get a little bit more, I kind of looked under here. This was actually closed off, and I assume this was like tacked down and closed on the left side. And the reason why I assume is because your shore power line comes in through there, runs back through the hole and into your power setup. But that they probably have it so that line doesn't get tangled in all the other stuff that you've got, I assume, but or a code thing, I don't know. But I just keep some of my non-essential stuff in here that I might need occasionally. I haven't organized it quite yet, but some tools, power lines, an extra jack in case something goes wrong, a couple other small things that I don't really even go in to grab very often, so they just kind of hang out in there. Another little hidden compartment that I found, especially in the bathroom, is in here. They have this bottom section covered with a piece of wood as well. I popped that off, I'm assuming, because there's, your wires, or not your wires, but your pipes and all that stuff are under here. The water heater is back behind under the bunk. So what I did is took that piece of wood that I had here and I stuck it in the back, up against the back wall. I keep my toilet paper, a couple other things down there. Just a little extra storage because there's not much in here. And then I also built this little floating shelf here. I just tacked it into the side of the medicine cabinet from the inside, and then I put a couple into the stud in the back here. That way I can keep a couple little small things for breeze and a couple other things. A little extra space for storage. And then another thing, the medicine cabinets. I literally just parked this thing, so things will fall out when you go to open it. But before I put these little bars in, everything would fall out every time. So I just put these are just little wooden dowels that I got at Home Depot. But you just drill a couple holes into here. I stained this the same color, well, not the same color, just a gray color. It's in a cabinet, so it's not a big deal, but close enough. Anyway, so I drilled a couple holes. You just kind of bend it, stick it in there, a little bit of wood glue, but that'll keep, especially your bigger bottles of stuff, that'll keep everything from falling out every time when you first get here. Obviously there will be some smaller things that'll probably fall out, but it'll at least keep most of it intact anyway. So as far as the inside, that's pretty much all I've got. The only other couple small things that I did, I've done a few other things as well, but on the outside of the trailer, one thing is installing a power jack. That way you're not sitting there cranking away on it, which kind of sucks. So that was one of the first things I did. And also this one is one of my definitely must-haves, is this little power cutoff thing for your trailer. So in this model, the carbon monoxide detector is on all the time. There's no way to turn it off. So what you want to, when you install this, it's an easy way to just unhook your battery. That way everything's dead. You're not using up any power, other than, you know, this will prevent you from having to pull off the top, unhook the battery every time. You can just switch it over and you're good to go. So anyhow, that's a couple other things. I'm doing more upgrades, and I've done some other small things, but if anybody watches this, wants to see some more things that I've done or going to do in the future, maybe I'll make another video. But anyway, enjoy. See you.